Hello, friends. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe at your own places. I, C.A. Pujan Kapadia, welcome you all to the today's online lecture of the subject Advanced Accounting and Auditing, Paper 5. This is alternatively a new subject for you guys to be studied in this particular semester. This subject is also popularly known as Principles on Auditing. Today, we are going to take a brief introduction on this particular paper. I'm not going to start with the topics today, but today we are just going to have a brief discussion on certain topics like syllables, what all contents we are going to cover during this semester. Secondly, we are going to discuss the paper style that we are going to face in our VNSU examinations. And thirdly, I'm going to discuss a brief on the introductory part. That is, I'm not going to talk theoretically, but I'm going to tell you guys how the subject is going to be of optimum importance in your professional career as well as future plans. So let's start with the syllables. The entire syllabus is basically divided into four different units. Your unit number 1 is nothing but the introduction, the weightage of which is 25%. Before starting with the contents of the introductory unit, I would just like to draw your attention on the image that I have kept below. You can read the word audit in that particular image, but if you see it more deeply, you will get to know that there is a magnifying glass on the term audit. Yes, friends, this is what audit is all about. What is audit? That can be the question that may be going around on your mind. So before starting with the syllables part, I would just like to now draw a general idea on what is audit. Let's recall your school days. When you were small, studying in your primary section of your school, you might be having one of your classmates who would be popularly known as the class monitor, right? Can you recall the same? Fine. Now, the class monitor's duty was simply to write the names of the students who are talking when the teacher is not present in the class. So basically, if I convert that term technically in the terms of audit, I can say that my work is to see whether all the transactions that are taking place in the business are doing properly, are as per the norms, are as per the laws and regulation. If they are not going accordingly, as an auditor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write their names on the classboard. No, I'm going to report that in my particular audit report. So basically auditing is nothing. It is just going in detail, analyzing each and every business transaction to evaluate and to prove that each and every business transaction shows true and fair view. Please friends, I'm repeating this word. You need to keep it in mind because it is going to be helpful in the subject. True and fair view. This means each and every transaction is correct. It is true. And second is it is fair. That is, there is nothing wrong in this particular transaction. Fine. Now let's move to the introduction unit. The first topic that you are going to study in this particular unit is meaning and objectives of auditing. What I told you just now is just a general rough idea of what audit is all about. We are going to technically deal with the same in the lecture that will be starting in unit number 1. That what is the meaning of the word auditing. Along with that, what are the objectives? Why we are supposed to do audit will be also be taught to you in that particular lecture. Second is types of audit. We know that audit can be classified into n number of types. We are going to study different types of audit in this particular topic. Just to give you the rough idea, you might be aware that all the chartered accountants, when there is a time of September, they all tell that we are having a workload of audit. We are supposed to complete the audit by the end of September. We used to keep this thing hearing. Now, basically, an audit can be termed as a statutory audit, or it can be termed as an internal audit. Now you will be saying, sir, this all words are totally new for us. So I would like to just briefly explain what is statutory audit and what is internal audit. If an audit is to be conducted due to any statutory provisions of any law which is in force in our country, the said audit is to be known as statutory audit. So basically statutory audit, as the word says, we are complying with the statute, with the law. So it is driven under the law. Against it, you can see the word, that is a third point, internal audit. Internal audit basically deals with the audit which is being conducted or which is being directed from the management of the company. Now I'm talking about the word company. You know, company's owners are shareholders, but company is being managed by the board of directors. So here I'm telling, if the management of a company directs the audit, they want their books of accounts of the company to get audited. What they'll be ordering for is an internal audit. So basically internal audit is necessary for certain companies who clears the specified criteria. But in general, you can get your internal audit done if your management wishes to do the same. So what we are going to study over here is what all will be the content of the internal audit. This is all about Unit 1, Introduction, the weightage of which is 25%. In short, I would like to say audit is nothing. It is just to ensure the effectiveness, the sufficiency of each and every transaction that is being performed in your business unit. Moving ahead, the second part, the second unit, name of the unit is audit process. We have well understood that the role of auditor is more or less like a class monitor in general terms. But how to conduct this audit? What is the process to be conducted in order to complete the audit? So first of all, before starting the contents, I would like to draw your attention again to the image that I have placed on the right side of the screen. Audit process starts with the first part, planning. You know, each and everything, whatever we do starts with the planning. Similarly, we too as an auditor has to frame an audit plan, how the audit is supposed to be conducted, what all things are necessary, what we need to think about before commencing an audit. So the first point that we are going to deal with is audit planning. Second is designing the audit. Designing the audit is basically talking about what all are the transactions that we are going to check. For example, I know a company is having 1,000 entries of a sale in a day. Is it practically possible for me to check each and every entries per day? Answer would be probably no. It is not practically possible to check 1,000 entries a day. So what can I do as an auditor? I can adopt the sampling technique. You might have studied the same in statistics. Yes, exactly the same one. We can sample out certain transactions, certain high value transaction, and design our audit plan in such a manner so that we can cover all the important transactions and cover it under our audit. So first part was planning. Second is designing your audit. Third is field work. Field work basically talks about you need to go to the client place, take an overview how the business is being actually conducted, do the analysis. What are the risks that pertains in a client's business? Because unless and until as an auditor, I know what the business my client is doing, unless and until I show how the business is being conducted, I won't be able to do the audit of that particular business. So it is most important for an auditor to step into the field to get the practical idea of how the audit of the particular business is being conducted. Moving ahead to the fourth point, it talks about reporting and recommendations. Reporting, as I told you, the class monitor wala example, what the class monitor used to do was, if he found a student talking, he would write their name on the blackboard. The same thing as an auditor I am going to do. If I find that everything is going good, then I am not having any kind of issue. But if I find there is a flaw, there is some limitation somewhere, there are certain transactions which are not as per law, then as an auditor, I need to report that transaction. I need to bring that transaction into the eyes of the owner or the government or the shareholders, whosoever has appointed me as an auditor. And at the same time, I am not the person who is just only going to report. I am also the person who is going to recommend. If I find a transaction can be done in a more better way, if I find that accounting can be done in a more better way, if I find the company can do its management in a more better way, I can for sure give my suggestions, give my recommendation so that they can implement the same in the next year and do their business in an efficient manner. And the last point is corrective actions. It is there everywhere. Whenever we start anything with planning, it is but naturally going to end with controlling. That is, if I find any deviation, if I find certain loopholes, I need to correct the same and bring back to my original standard that I have set for my auditing process. So this is a general idea about how the auditing works. See, this is just the general thing. In detail, we are going to technically study each and everything which is going to be the part of your syllabus. Now moving to the contents of Unit 2. The first content is audit program. First question arises, what is audit program? Audit program is nothing. It is a detailed plan containing a minute thing of each and every target, each and every task that are supposed to be performed by an auditor. Here we are going to define how much time is supposed to be allocated to audit a certain transaction. Who is going to audit what? You can say a step-by-step detailed plan is known as audit program. Second is audit and books. At the time of auditing, which all are the books of accounts that are supposed to be maintained by the client? Which are all the books of accounts that are supposed to be audited by the auditor will be covered under this part. Third, again an important word, working papers and evidences. For example, a company has recorded that it has purchased a laptop costing rupees 70,000 in its books of account. There is no bill of that laptop. Then as an auditor, the question arises, how can I prove that particular transaction? So first thing that I'm going to ask for is the original copy of the bill that must have been received from the supplier. Basically, this is nothing. This is the evidence of the transaction recorded in the books of account. Because without evidence, it becomes impossible to conduct the audit and to prove the truth of the transaction. What is working paper? In the course of audit, whenever I'm auditing anything, there are certain points that I find important to be recorded in my books of account. It is not like that if I find something, I'll record it and immediately tell to the owner of the business. What I'll do is I'll continue my audit, do certain calculation, do certain techniques, and at the end of the day or at the end of a fortnight, I'll prepare a rough report or some notings which I'll be presenting to the owner of the business. Working papers are nothing. They are the work that is being done by the auditor during the course of audit. What he'll do is he'll collect the same in one particular file, and all these papers will be termed as working papers. Here, I would like to lay stress on one important point. Working papers are the one that are being prepared by the auditor in the course of audit for his own reference. They are not supposed to be presented somewhere. As a result of which, the ownership of the working paper lies with the auditor himself. Underline these words. The ownership of the working paper lies with himself. There is a question which is being asked repeatedly in university. We'll be dealing with this in Unit 2. I'll explain you in detail how to write the same. Next point is consideration for commencing an audit. This topic will be talking about what all points are supposed to be considered when we start with an audit. That is, what knowledge I need to gain of the business before starting off the audit. See, practically it is not possible to directly start the audit. We need to have certain understanding about the accounting system that is being followed by the client, about the transaction that is being incurred by the client. Fine. So what all are the consideration that we are supposed to keep in mind before commencing or starting the audit will be covered under this part. Last part is routine checking and test checking. There is a slight difference between these two words. Routine checking is you are checking regularly each and every transaction that are being incurred by the businessman. Opposite to it is test checking. It is not possible, as I said in example, there are 1,000 sales transactions in a day. I'm not able to check each and every transaction practically. So what I'm going to do is I'll sample those transactions. I will check certain important transactions only. This technique is known as test checking. So this topic will be dealt over here. I guess you are clear with the Unit 2 topics. They are basically dealing with all the points that we are going to consider in the audit process. That is, when we are going to conduct any kind of audit, we are going to give due consideration of all these points. So the first part was introduction. Second is audit process. Moving ahead, third part, the weightage of which is 20%. Internal check system. As the name suggests, internal check. First of all, I directly like to start with the example, so it will be easier for you guys to understand this topic. The first example I have written is iCard. When you are appearing for a VNSU examinations, we ask compulsorily for your iCard and your fees receipt. Fine. This is a proof that you are the person who is eligible to give the exam. Because if I don't check the iCard, any student from any other college could also come and enter my premises to give the exam. As a result of which, no other student than my college student could enter my premises. What I would define it a system which is known as iCard system. Second example I would like to take of a bank. For example, when you are entering any transaction in a bank, or when you are depositing your check with the banker, fine, he is accepting your check, but he is not signing or clearing the check. The clearing department is different. Why it is so? Basically a mistake can be conducted by one person. The same thing cannot be repeated by other person. But there is a phenomenon which is known as cross checking. In general terms, what we use is, so the person who is actually taking our check is not clearing the same. The clearance is being done by the another person. As a result of which, the check passes from two persons. That is 4 eyes. Fine. So it is also known as 4 eyes concept. And in banking industry, it is basically termed as maker checker concept. The maker of the instrument is different and the checker of the instrument is going to be different. So basically, internal control is all about, there are certain risks that is going to take place in your business. You need to set a mechanism so that you can avoid that risk, you can mitigate that risk. As a result of which, you need to design certain controls, as a result of which you can avoid those risks. So the system that we are supposed to implement in a business premises in order to face and properly mitigate the risk that exists is known as internal control system. So we are going to talk in detail what are the different types of control, how to design the control system, which control is more effective, etc. in this particular unit. The last unit is unit number 4, name of which is audit procedure. Weightage is 30%. First topic deals with vouching. Vouching means whenever you are checking the authenticity of the transaction, whenever you are checking that the transaction is recorded correctly on the basis of vouchers, that is your bills that are being provided by the supplier in the example that I took of the laptop, fine. This procedure is known as vouching. So what you are doing basically is you are checking the transaction on the basis of the proof that can be a bill, that can be a voucher, or that can be any other document. Fine. This process is termed as vouching. Second point is verification and valuation of assets and liability. Now, what is verification? The scope of vouching is comparatively limited because what you are doing is you are just checking or cross-verifying the transaction with the bill or any voucher. But when it comes to verification, you are going to widen your approach. You are going to check, for example, I am having a building in my name. I have shown it in my books of accounts on the asset side. What I am going to check is whether I am the real owner of this building, whether the building is shown at the right price in my books of accounts, whether the appropriate documents, the title deeds of the building is with me, whether there is any mortgage against this building, whether I have charged proper depreciation for this building, and lot many things. So you can get a rough idea that verification is a wide topic which is asking many questions so that you can go deeper and prove that no, this asset or liability which is shown in the books of accounts are actually true and correct. What we are going to study basically in this topic is you will be given any situation. For example, as an auditor, how are you going to verify your building? What I said just now, fine. You need to write all these steps. This all are the things that I am going to verify in order to prove the correctness of the existence of the building. So this is all about the syllables that we are going to study in this particular semester. Just to revive it quickly, first was introduction, what is auditing, related it with the example of the class monitor. I hope you can recall the same. Second was types of audit. I told you there are many types of audit. I laid stress on two words: statutory audit, that is required by statute or by the law, that is compulsory, and second is internal audit, which is not compulsory for all, but basically if a management wants that, they wants their account to get audited, who wants, management wants, and it is known as internal audit. Second topic was audit process, where we started from planning, designing, field work, reporting, and finally corrective actions. What is audit program? A detailed plan which consists of each and everything, all the minute details of how the audit is going to be conducted is known as audit program. Audit and books was basically dealing with what are the all books of accounts that auditor need to check, what all are the books of accounts that the clients need to maintain, etc. Working papers, as I told you, during the course of audit, auditor for his own reference prepares certain paper, note down something with the pages with him, and he prepares a book out of it. This are the ownership of the auditor, and these documents are known as audit working papers. Next was consideration, that if I'm going to start my audit, what all are the points that I need to take care of before starting an audit. And last is routine checking, that is checking each and every transaction, and test checking, that if you cannot check all the transactions, like I took the example of 5,000 transactions a day, that what I am doing this, I will be going and checking randomly on a sampling basis. Third was internal check system, checking of your iCards, example of bank 4 eyes concept or the maker checker concept. And last was audit procedure, which consisted mainly of two things: vouching and verification. Now there is a small table that I have kept downwards, a box which is written as marks will be clubbed with advanced accounting and auditing paper 6. You need to remember, as it was in SY BCom, the same system will be followed in TY BCom. The marks of this paper and the accounting that you are going to study in paper 6 will be clubbed, and there will be a total marking of this subject. I hope I'm clear with the syllables part. Now it's the time to test your knowledge. What we are going to do is, I'm going to show you 5 MCQs over here. For each MCQ, I'll be giving you 30 seconds. You are supposed to note the correct option along with you. After discussing all the 5 MCQs, we are going to discuss the correct answers of the same. I hope I'm clear with this, and your time starts now. Well, students, I guess you might be ready with your answers. So let's check it all. Question number 1 was audit that is initiated by the management of the company is called dash audit. I have just discussed two kind of audit with you till now. First was internal and second was statutory, under which we have studied. Internal audit is the one which is initiated by the management. So the correct answer of this question is A, internal audit. For B, I have told statutory audit is for the one when it is required by the law or by the statute, which is compulsory. But here it is asked by the management. So the correct answer would be option number A, internal. Second is 4 eyes concept that I talked about in the banking system is also known as dash concept. The correct answer is B, maker checker concept. A cross verification wala example when one person is making something and the second person is checking something. So 4 eyes concept is also known as maker checker concept. Third is audit process starts with dash. Very simple question because we all know everything starts with planning. Yes, so the correct answer is option number C, planning. Fourth question, the detailed plan of every aspect to be covered under audit, like who will do what, in how much time, etc. is termed as. Correct answer is option number B, audit program. As I mentioned in the second unit, what is audit program? It contains minute detail of each and everything, how I'm going to do, in what time I'm going to do, will all be the part of audit program. So yes, the correct answer is option B, audit program. The question was, when you check the authenticity of the transaction with the bills or vouchers, it is known as dash. Correct option is option number A, vouching. Because what I'm doing is I'm checking whether the transaction that I have recorded with the bills or the vouchers which are available with me. I hope all of you might have got all the answers correct. In case if you have not got the same, I would just request you guys to just go through with the prior part of this video so that we can clear out all the concepts with the syllables. Moving ahead, the paper style, it is very simple. The first question would be answer in brief. You'll be having 5 short questions, 2 marks each. Question number 2 would be the long answers. What you are going to have is probably there will be 2 questions, each question of 7 marks. So there will be A and B, but you are going to get an option. Either you attempt the first set of AB or you are going to attempt the second set of AB. The same thing is going to be repeated over here. Question number 3, that is 2 questions will be asked of 7 marks. There is a printing mistake. There will be 7 marks. That is 7 plus 7. So here also you are going to deal with the same thing. Last question, that is question number 4, is going to be your short notes. The first part will be a difference. See, there is one thing you are going to compulsorily be asked with one question. It will be like difference between, for example, what we took over here. What is the difference between statutory audit and internal audit? Fine. So they will be asking you 2 questions of which you are supposed to attempt any one 6 marks. And B will be short notes. They will be asking you 2 short notes of which you are supposed to attempt any one. Again, it will be of 6 months. This is an idea of how will be your paper style. It is subject to change, but there won't be any major change in this particular paper style. Moving ahead, the last part of this slide, what is the scope of studying this subject? There is enough of theoretical syllables part. Now I'm going to practically tell you, which is not a part of your syllabus basically, of course, but this is going to get you into an idea how the subject is going to be useful to you guys. First part I have written over here is professional courses. Few students I know from your part are going for professional courses. It may be like chartered accountancy course, it may be any cost accountancy course, or if you wish to pursue any master courses in future. The subject of audit is going to be the part of yours because you are going to do specialization in accountancy and auditing. As a result of which, the syllabus of what you are studying in semester 5 as well as semester 6 is going to be the same in your professional course also. So again, the same thing is going to apply over here. You need to study once, but need to gain its benefit twice. Second is audit experts. After gaining a thorough knowledge of what we are going to study in semester 5 and semester 6, you can pass out certain certification examinations and you can definitely work as an audit expert. The work of an auditor is not limited to certain things. You can do audit of n number of things you name for. It can be cost audit, it can be government audit, it can be bank audit, any audit you name. Fine. So the scope of being an audit expert is going to increase day by day. Why so? I'm going to explain in the last part of this slide. Third, and the most trending thing which is going on these days is cyber audit. Yes, friends. Cyber audit is basically, you might be hearing about cyber frauds that are occurring. I guess we are hearing it on a day-to-day basis. Like there are some banking frauds, there are certain frauds in my digital payment, etc. The need of cyber audit is the call of the time. As a result of which, what you can do is you can gain the basic understanding of this subject and do specialization in the cyber audit also. Trust me, this is going to be one of the most trending profession in the coming years. Last part of this is governance and control. I would deal with two words separately. First word is governance. Governance basically talks about how the top management is managing their business effectively. In this particular case, nowadays we are coming across many companies that are totally shutting off due to any malpractices. We are coming across many scams. So basically what these multinational companies are doing nowadays, they are hiring a professional to check whether the governance is done in a right manner or not, to see how the top level management are actually working. Is there any biasness in what they are doing or not? As a result of which, the scope and the knowledge of auditing is directly going to be helpful in judging and monitoring the governance of any business. Second is control. If I know there is some flaw in my business, and if someone comes and tells me, if you will be doing this, then it is going to definitely reduce the risk, then I'm definitely going to hire that person, right? As a result of which, nowadays there is one of the trending profession where you can work in designing the internal control system. For example, we have a simple internal control system of ID cards that I suggested you, but the business working on a large level in various countries across the globe are facing very high amount of risk. So they are hiring professionals who can come and set controls in order to minimize the effect of that risk. As a result of which, I have written this word governance and control, though not directly related to the word audit, but the knowledge that you are going to gain in this subject is definitely going to be useful when you go ahead for governance and control mechanism. So this is just a rough idea that whatever you are going to study in this subject is definitely going to be useful in the future profession you are going to pursue. You are clear with all the topics that we have studied today. I thank you all for your patience listening and request you all to brush up with the knowledge that I have shared today so that we can continue from the next lecture with a good amount of knowledge. Thank you once again.